ESG is a term you've probably heard countless times in business, finance, and government affairs.
ESG funds in China, green insurance, green loan and green bond market.
ESG policies. It's everywhere. But what you may not know is that it's a 20-year-old concept. It stands for environmental, social, and governance. The term was coined 2 decades ago by the United Nations Global Compact.
By the year 2050, the plastics in the ocean will surpass the amount of a fish.
And that's why
Climate change has never been as urgent as now.
What progress has been made in terms of ESG? Are there outstanding case studies? How's cooperation between countries? We had a chance to sit down with Liu Meng, head of China office of the United Nations Global Compact.
Ms. Liu, thanks for your time.
Thank you, Lisa.
20 years ago, United Nations Global Compact was the first organization in the world to propose ESG concept. How would you interpret ESG, and what do you think is the significance of ESG, promoting ESG in current era?
There are more than 23,000 companies from 170 countries endorsed ESG principles, which are the 10 principles of global compacts. The UN Secretary General announced global warming era has ended, and now it's a global borrowing era has coming. So climate change has never been as urgent as now.
China has had multiple actions in the ESG field. The most ambitious goal is to reach peak carbon emissions by 2030 and carbon neutrality by 2060. How would you evaluate the efforts China has made in the ESG field?
In September, China will convene the next FOCAC meeting, Forum on China-Africa Cooperation. We commend China's efforts on strengthening South-South cooperation for sustainable development through China-Africa collaboration as an example. There are already pilot projects ongoing. I hope after the FOCAC close, we will be able to launch the first flagship pilot project where Chinese companies are coming together to contribute to the improvement of electricity access in African communities, not only since 2020 when the Chinese government proposed the carbon peak and the carbon neutrality goals. ESG has been booming in China, but also through very important international collaborative efforts such as the initiative proposed by China, the Belt and Road Initiative, how to co-construct high-quality, green, resilient infrastructure by multiple companies from different countries.
Any cases or achievements here in China that have amazed you?
China is the biggest investor globally into renewable energy. You can see here in the Chinese market that electric vehicle, which is more environmental friendly way of transportation, is booming. Not only the car makers, but also the battery industry, they are looking into the full life cycle sustainability. The UN Global Compact, we launched a white paper, and one of the key areas we are looking into is about electric vehicle, and it's about EV battery. And as I learned from some leading Chinese companies, the critical metals used in this EV battery now can be recycled up to 99.9%. From the mining to the recycle and the reuse of the batteries, there is already existing best practice from leading industrial players. This impressive technology breakthrough can enable us to make sure and transform this sector to be a circular economy model.
The United Nations has launched the 2030 Agenda for Sustainability. Where do you position China in that project?
China has been a strong supporter for multilateralism. If you listen to the state leader of China's remarks on major international occasions, SDGs, 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development are most frequently mentioned terms. At the UN Global Compact, we attach great importance to the Chinese market and also companies from China. And we believe they have great potential that we can together unlock to accelerate the sustainable development goals. In 2022, the United Nations Global Compact we launched called China Strategy. And in the China strategy, we identified 7 key areas for us to work together with private sector in China to make positive contribution to global agendas such as poverty alleviation, to tackle climate change, to protect the biodiversity, to foster more equity, for example, gender equality. We also highlighted the exemplary cases for China and Africa to strengthen collaboration in order to accelerate the SDGs. And this past April, we just launched a global network called China-Africa Corporate Community Action Network, where we're convening the biggest major investors that invest in African continent from China, together with stakeholders from Africa, coming together to co-identify what are the most pressing sustainability challenges across Africa continent.
How do you think China can contribute to the sustainable growth globally in the following 5 years?
China has contributed to a UN Peace and Development Fund, and also China founded Global Development and South-South Development Fund. And these are major investments. These are the SDGs stimulus called for by the UN Secretary General. So China is really putting real money into this movement to support our humanity's goal, the 2030 agenda. And on the other hand, if you're looking at China domestically, you see that ESG exhibition discussions is happening every day. We partner with China Ocean Shipping Group and also our participant Longji Group to convert used ocean shipping containers into an eco-toilet. A toilet that doesn't require electricity, it doesn't require water, it can be used in many scenarios. This year, the UN Global Compact, we launched a sustainable leadership dialogue to interview 20 top and leading sustainability practitioners, and they are the CEOs of major Chinese companies from different sectors for them to share their insights and perspectives about, how do they make decisions to strategize ESG and why they can achieve long-term business success while they're doing good for the society and the people and the planet.
Thanks for your time, Ms. Liu.
Thank you, Lisa.